Okay, guys. Good morning. I'm the alien scientist. I've been doing this since at least 2008 when I created this alien scientist channel on YouTube. I have been speaking with Ross Coulthardt, the journalist behind this new whistleblower, Jake Barber. Um, kind of behind the scenes, I talked to him for about an hour last night and had some interesting things to say back and forth to one another. I just want to play a clip. I think before at the beginning of this, just to start it off. So let's go back to YouTube. We got the hold on. This is not working. YouTube. There we go. Now we're gonna go to close encounters of the third kind. Okay, which if you go on YouTube, you'll find is free to play right now. So you guys can go watch this movie. I watched it last night again for just to see if there was anything interesting that I might have missed. And I think it's right at is it this time? So it looks up they have misdirection, counterintelligence, all that kind of stuff. Very interesting. This part of the movie I just want to play. So this right after the scene where the little boy gets kidnapped through the dog door by the aliens and his mom chases after the UFOs that take him away up into the sky. Oh, and it doesn't show. Why doesn't it show on the screen? It shows nothing. Guys, it will not let me play this movie on the screen. Look at that. There's some kind of new protection on YouTube. The StreamYard does not see the video there. It's completely taken out. That is crazy because it's showing on my other screen. That's wild. So they've disabled your ability to screen other videos. But I want people to go to that mark about open this up and go to 55 minutes exact on the dot, 5500 timestamp, right? And if you go to the 55-minute mark and you hit play and listen to this scene, there's the Air Force, right? Oh, God, why isn't this not working? Let me see if I can stop sharing, present Chrome tab. Does that work? Oh, yeah, you can see it now. So they hold this press conference, and first the Air Force, it's very reminiscent of all this. Basically, this shows you all the tactics that the Air Force would have used back in the 70s, 77, 1977 is when this movie came out. So they show you the psychological operations that the Air Force performs. This is them holding a press conference on the UFOs and the objects. All these people saw all this stuff and were abducted or had their kids taken and weird things. And basically, they talk about psychic abilities. If I can play this clip without getting copyrighted.
I was in the shopping center. There was this tremendously bright light, and I rushed outside, and it was an airplane.
Excuse me, sir. I didn't want to see this.
I sure wish I had. You know, for 15 years, I've been looking for these damn silly lights in the night sky. I've never found any. I'd like to, because I believe in life elsewhere.
Why don't you guys just admit that the Air Force is conducting secret tests in the foothills area?
It would be easy to say yes to that. But I'm not going to mislead you. This is not the case. To tell you the truth, I don't know what you saw.
You can't fool us by agreeing with us.
No, come on, no. I saw Bigfoot once.
And then Bigfoot comes in. So first they talk about psychic abilities, telepathy, and all this other stuff. And this is exactly kind of what's been going around in the whole UFO sphere lately and connecting it all back. And of course, this was 77. I'm sure there's a lot of people that were there you know, in those days that started studying this stuff and laid a lot of the footwork and foundations for later generations, I guess. But this is just I mean, this is a fictional movie. None of this stuff actually happened, but it just shows us what's kind of a very interesting comparison to everything that's going on today. And so my conversation with Ross was basically, you know, telling him that, you know, we have to be careful of these psychological operations, you know, what the different types of psychological operations, so psyops, right? I don't know why this does not work. I'm having some weird problems with my computer. Psyops, and nothing's going to come up on YouTube when you search for anything on this, but psychological operations go way back. And I just had to tell Ross about how I had lived through, you know, generations of other movements and saw how they used psychological operations on other movements, you know. So when you search for like 9/11 conspiracy, for example, right, you'll probably find, oh, the 5 biggest conspiracy theories debunked, and these opinion posts. Oh, you can actually find the Loose Change movie right here. Now you can watch Loose Change. But you'll find all the disinformation of the top results that come up. And they purposely created a lot of fake theories. They had a lot of popular people come out and support like ridiculous stuff in order to, you know, draw away attention to like real issues with. And I saw how in 2007 we had like the highest, you know, the 9/11 truth movement was really, really strong, and the psychological operations and disinformation killed it. And when I see everything that's going on with Jeremy Corbell and his big show on TMZ, and all the eyes on this crybaby who's crying about Nancy Mace not taking his UFO fakes information seriously and giving him credit for it, and instead giving the credit to a journalist named Michael Schellenberger, who Michael Schellenberger is apparently this big free speech advocate and an anti-censorship guy, and how he doesn't understand the operation that's being played with, you know, Corbell being put in as the front man for ufology is beyond me. So I've reached out to Michael Schellenberger, and hopefully he receives my email and responds back to me, because there are such it's these operations that they set up to take down movements where they put this disinformation out. They'll make up fake stuff, but let's get into it. I mean, Ross didn't seem phased by any of this in our conversation. He seemed to think that, you know, we've got this under control and they have no idea what's coming. And I said, I wouldn't be too sure. You know, I saw how they took down movements in the past, Ross. You know, I was there for you know, a lot of these other you know, pushes for the government to get real investigations opened up with the government. And the way that they shut it down is they inject all this fake stuff, and then they do an investigation into the fake stuff and say, look, we don't need to wait. Let's not waste any more money on this UFO business. And then it's over, and it's back to, you know, other legislation and other issues in Congress. And they won't care about this issue. They won't touch this issue for another 80 years. They'll be able to sweep it under the rug. So what do you guys think? So let's do. I did the first poll. Let's see. We got 57% of you think that yes. So a majority, over 50%. You know, over the noise value of 50% of you think that it's possible to summon UFOs with psychic meditation, because this is Ross's big thing, right? And there are some evidence that some people might be able to do this, right? So Ross's big thing, he responded back to me, is their trump card is that, you know, he doesn't care that they run these disinfo ops, that they've, they create these limited hangouts around certain, popular people who are then able to control the narrative by, covering certain UFO information and not other stuff, and sort of burying the real UFO stuff under the rug while presenting, a completely fictitious, um, dog and pony show for the public, that's exactly what Jeremy Corbell does. I'll challenge him to come debate me on my show or bring me on his show any day of the week, or anyone else that wants to set up the debate. I will totally expose this fraud in a debate. Absolutely set that up. Ross disagrees with me, thinks my assessment of some of these people in the UFO field is not really fair. And I said, I'm definitely think that Jeremy Corbell is, the fact that he's got this TMZ show and is a drama queen who only cares about himself and not any of the information. He just showed that off at the last bit, that he's only in this for himself, does not care about the information, does not care about the disclosure. I have people stealing my information. I do great research on this channel, and people steal my stuff and copy it all the time and don't give me a single shred of credit for it. Do I go after those people? Do I go and cry like a baby? No, because I want the information to get out there, and I can't do it on my channel. It's shadow banned. We need bigger channels to get this stuff out. So, no, I don't complain about other people taking my research and claiming it as their own. People do that all the time. But the real scholars, when they go back and they look back and they actually do the research and the history on this, they'll know who did it first. And all those other people don't matter. 61%. All right, I'm going to end that poll, guys. The next step of the poll is interesting, because Project Unity is a friend of mine. He does great work. He has great interviews. He's gotten some incredible insiders have come out. This guy's just really cool. He convinces all these people to come out and talk about this stuff openly. And he's over in the UK, and he swears by the story. And I've talked to him about this, that he did the CE5 meditation and he summoned an orange UFO, right? I think maybe you look CE5 up right here. So this is why CE5 works in his opinion. So he's been putting out videos. He's, and we don't always agree on all this stuff, on everything. I don't need to agree with everybody to be on their channel or endorse, it doesn't mean I endorse them to have them on my channel, or doesn't mean you endorse me because you come on my channel, right? But some reason people in the community feel like that, and that's just wrong in my opinion, because we need to be skeptical yet open-minded. There might be something here we're missing. Maybe I'm skeptical of the idea that, yeah, we can summon UFOs with meditation. I've tried this a couple times myself at party and with my alone and with parties of people. It has not worked for me personally, but other people swear they did it and it freaked them out. And then there's, when I went to LA for Alien Con in 2019, they were saying there was this guy in the park right down the street from Alien Con who could meditate and summon UFOs. And they said that he summoned them, and a whole bunch of people were there in the park and saw it. And I'm just like, yo, that's pretty crazy. And I don't know who Thomas Campbell is, but I don't know who that is, but I will, I'm going to look into this sometime. But anyways, yeah, so I'm not sure about this idea. I mean, 60% of you think it might be possible to actually summon these UFOs with your mind. But that was Ross's response to me, and in contest to, he doesn't care if the Pentagon has paid disinformation agency and they're running all these ops, because it won't matter in the end. The truth is going to come out on this issue, and we're going to be the ones to force it out. And he said, if you don't understand really what happened, because the Skywatcher program, apparently, there's this whole thing with the Skywatcher thing, and Stephen Greenstreet is trying to pick it apart on YouTube. I mean, on Twitter here, on X, saying that the Skywatcher Technologies Corporation, which was, filed in Delaware, which a lot of, companies file in Delaware. It's got the easiest laws and stuff for running businesses like this. So a lot of people file in Delaware, but he is you know, a Skywatcher Technologies Corporation is basically this, you know, they're going to set up all these cameras that are going to be able to capture and collect all the data on the UAP. And then Ross tells me that they're going to, you know, use these psychic abilities in the CE5 to summon UAP. And then, you know, I'm so like, okay, this is great, but why? I don't understand. It's 2025. Why is it, if this is stuff's been around for so long, why haven't we done this already? I don't understand. Why hasn't somebody done this already? If this all works, you know, why hasn't someone done this already? Okay. Like I remember in 2009 when I was out in Colorado, I hid up in the mountains um, over behind Stan Romanek's house. Well, it wasn't Stan Romanek's house, but he was over one of these UFO people's house down in all these UFO people. We went to this like really ritzy, you know, gated community in the hills, and I went and hit as they all told me that Stan Romanek was going to be there and that he was going to summon a UFO that night, that the UFOs were going to come that night, you know. So I got the best video camera, infrared sensors, and me and a friend, we went up with all the stuff up to the mountaintop, and we set up in a perfect vantage point to film all this, and we sat there all night and we didn't see a damn thing, you know. So like I've been on the ground and I'm trying to investigate some real stuff, and then it turns out, you know, this guy just turned out to be something else. So yeah, he's involved with a whole bunch of weird crazy stuff now, and but I remember this was like when I first was getting into ufology back in 2008, 2009, and I went out to this conference. This guy was supposed to be the best UFO witness in history. He had everything. It was like the best UFO cases of contact and all, and the aliens were giving him equations, and that's interested me because I'm into the science and stuff. So tracked down Stan Romanek's mystery equations, and that's when I learned about Hal Puthoff's stuff. Because Stan Puthoff's mystery equations that he apparently got from aliens, the mystery equations were actually, you know, Hal Puthoff's polarizable vacuum paper, and mixed with a bunch of weird, dumb element 115 nonsense. So it's all that, you know. So this guy obviously was a fan of Hal Puthoff and followed Hal Puthoff stuff. Found this paper, didn't understand the equations, but you know, wrote it into his alien UFO story that he sold to tons of people. Weird guy. I met him and talked to him. I could definitely tell he was not interested in, you know, skeptical and smart people inquiring. He was just wanting to sell his book and sell his story, and that was it. It was pretty wacky stuff. But anyways, the Skywatcher business is pretty cool, I guess. I'm still trying to find. There's a bunch of. If you search for the Skywalker thing, well, I just closed that, so I wanted to open that back up. Yeah, this is not Skywatcher USA. These are telescopes. That's not Jake Barber's company. And this skywatchtechnologies.com is like a Pakistani company. They're out of Pakistan. So they got this yeah, that's just weird. So that's not them either. And then there's more telescope companies. That's all that comes up really for the Skywatcher Technologies Corporation when you search for it. But you know, again, if it involves technology and the idea that we're going to capture UFO technology, I want to be involved, and I want pieces of that UFO to study and to, you know, learn from and teach others about when that happens. But I'll just take a poll from the audience. Do you think it's likely? Do you think that Ross and his friends will actually summon and capture a real UFO? What do you guys think? Yes or no? And the audience chat. What do you guys say? Do you think that Ross and his friends will actually summon and capture a real UFO? What are the chances, man? Because that seems to be like his response to, well, what if the government, Ross, what if the government's, spreading all this stuff to discredit ufology? What if these guys are and this whole egg story was, a psychological operation, like this is like the intel community basically fucking with us. And that's that, because that's the only way I think you can explain, guys like Lieutenant Colonel John Blitch, DARPA project manager, senior research scientist at Wright-Patterson. Apparently, he supports Jake Barber's claims wholeheartedly and says that the U.S. absolutely has recovered UAP. Well, I don't understand why we're seeing Jake Barber talking about egg stuff and we're not seeing John Blitch being the whistleblower, dead center. I just don't get this. Is this real? Did somebody confirm this? Because I mean, it's got. I've seen this are being shared around quite a bit in the UFO on news on Twitter stuff, but I haven't. Let's ask Grok. I'm going to ask Grok. I want to find out more about John Blitch. We're going to try to get John Blitch on the program, because this is the guy who should have been front and center in this whistleblower opening up thing, and not Jake Barber with the egg thing. This is just weird. Why are top level DARPA people and ranked military people's coming out and saying that they support this, that this is absolutely a reality? I mean, we know that the government can recover this stuff. We know that there's they would cover it up. So I don't know. It just seems kind of weird. If this is a cover up and a psyop, what is the end goal? What's the end result? It seems like it's to hide the technologies side of all this and tell everyone it's aliens, and that we're actually summoning UAP now, that these are aliens, and now we're using psychic abilities to summon the aliens. So this is just, and where's this? Yeah, so flying saucers, yeah, it's very weird timing right before Trump takes office, really trying to set the page and set this pace for 2025 and the Trump administration and how they look at all this stuff. Well, James Fox talks about Battelle, man. That's not grifting. If he was a total grifter, man, he'd be, he's not. And a lot of these people are genuinely just looking for truth, but we're in a sea of disinformation, and it's so easy for the intelligence communities to realize who the influencers are and try to infiltrate them, dude. It's so hard to know whether your source is a legit source or whether you're being covertly infiltrated. It's very hard. This is a very tough game, man, and it's not easy. That's why I gave Ross the credibility. I'm saying the benefit of the doubt, man. I know you believe this stuff. I know these people may have convinced you of a lot of this stuff, but just want you to step back for a second and say, are we really going to use our psychic abilities to summon UFOs and then capture them? Because that's basically the trump card that he told me about, why we don't have to worry about disinformation ops or psyops ruining disclosure or getting in the way of the public finding the truth. Does that make sense to you? Let's check our poll. An overwhelming majority of you guys say that no, it's not right. It just doesn't sound realistic. When you think about it in terms of, is this going to be an actual event? Only 17% of you said that, you believe that this is going to happen. Like this is going to be a real event. So thanks for the poll. We're going to close that poll. And now I'm going to start another poll and ask the audience what they feel about because there's a lot of controversy going around about this, the Skywatcher's Technology Corp. Okay, is this Wasn't there a whole Skywatch? There's a whole Skywatcher thing already. There wasn't. I just don't get how this is going to really help us and open stuff up, and how this is a big. That's what I'd like to know more about next. Is what is this company about? What technologies are they bringing to the table that are so valuable, and do they mean anything? Because this is this just a promotion for this guy's company? Because I thought there were a number of other companies selling, technologies for, like dual cameras that have infrared and visible abilities. Because if you can find something that's there in infrared but cloaked and visible, it would be pretty wild data to have, as far as UAP data. So again, I don't know what do you guys think? Do you think Ross and do you think that people like Ross and who's the other guy, James Fox, are being infiltrated by intelligence? Yeah, okay. That's the question now. Again, I'm not ignoring anything. I'm trying to run a show, and I try to read all the comments, guys. I try to, but I don't make any promises. I can't. Sometimes I have to look away. Sometimes I'm typing and looking at other screens. So no one's getting ignored. Glitch's scientific contributions and the links I sent you. Okay, where'd you send them to? My Proton mail or my email? Guys, send it to my send me links. If you can send me links, you can send them to my, or you can just send them to my email, thealienscientist@gmail.com, or you can send them to me at jeremyriss@proton.me. Either one will work. Okay. Yeah, infiltrated is a bit of a strong word on that poll, and then some people think that he is part of the intelligence. So that brings us to this video, which has been circling. It's been circling quite a bit here on the internet. Where's the Ross Coulthardt video, guys? It might have taken it down. No, here it is. It's this video that's been going around. I guess there's this new. I got to learn how to use this software too, by the way, guys. If anyone, I forget what kind of software was used to make this, but it's a new AI software.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Where's this UFO buried?
Are you Deep State Ross? It's News Nation, a psyop Ross. Egg shape UFO. Now you're talking. Told her I didn't do blow. Now she walking. Ross. What the fuck is that UFO buried? Ross.
What the hell is that UFO
what the fuck
buried?
Are you talking about? Ross. Are you Deep State Ross? It's News Nation, a psyop Ross.
So it's not the best, in terms of rap lyrics, right, guys? But it's pretty. I mean, it's good production for the music and for the video. I mean, that's the stuff that I'm missing, man. And I just want to reach out to Tupa. I'm gonna have to get back on Twitter and make a new account on there, and and all, but you can reach out to me by email in the meantime, and let's get connected, because we got to start making some music videos together. Because you know that I wrote a rap about UFOs, right? To try to expose things the government won't disclose, like payments from Arrow to a company with AI trolls and armies of bots collecting your thoughts and poking holes. Your reality folds and begin to behold a terrible, bold, and hopeless cold. And Sandcorp now has the keys to your soul. And, you know, I can make up stuff all day. So I would love to link up and write a song with you and do a music video, do more of these music videos, man. We should be releasing one of these a week, bro. We'll blow the fuck up if we release one of those videos a week. And I can write all of the songs with you. So yeah, man. So I got my beat studio set up here. I'm starting to learn this stuff, but I'm not really, like, I need someone to really help me out, because this is my little, I got one of these little MPK minis. I don't know if you guys can see that. Damn it. It's plugged into the damn computer. So I'm starting to like learn how to make my own beats and record and stuff. So I want to be producing some more of these videos in the future. I don't think that Ross is intelligence, man. He wouldn't talk to me at all if he was. He's been pretty open and cool in the communication with me. I just think that he may have been misled by, some of these people and being used and stuff. That's what I really think. That's what I really think is going on. But yeah. First, this is pretty wild stuff. But Ross hates this video. He tries to get it taken down. I've seen a lot of people share it. Ross, I'm sorry for playing it, and I don't think that you're a total psyop. I think that psyops are being run on all of us all the time, and we have to always be careful and be aware. Maybe even to a degree in News Nation, the way they portrayed Jake. I mean, he looks way more normal in this interview than the one with his eyeballs popping out of his head. But again, not really about what they look like or anything. It's about the actual evidence. And I thought it was super interesting that Greenstreet was the one to reveal the leak on the information on Sandcorp, which I think a lot of people just see anything that Greenstreet comes out with as trash and don't want to touch it. And so that might have been a mistake on his part to be the first to come out with break that story. But still, I didn't heard about this, and this is pretty much old news. Everyone was posting about this. It looks like the end of 2023. But there's not much in terms of the contracts. And I went through the extended full PDF contract and with a pretty fine tooth comb, trying to find anything incriminating about them. But it looks like Sandcorp is an AI bot farm, which does public opinion influencing and perception management control. And Arrow gave them $4 million. The government agency that was supposed to study UFOs gave a AI bot farm $4 million. And it's not in the contract specifically that they paid them for, online trolling activities or anything of that nature, but I think it's quite possible that the whole thing is being run behind the scenes by DoD ops. They're promoting guys like Jeremy Corbell, feeding him UFO insiders who just give him trash story after trash story, because they know he's an attention whore and he'll love it. And he's got this show on TMZ now, and he just bathes in people, in the limelight and the spotlight of attention, and doesn't care about the information. He does not give a fuck about doing research or vetting any of his sources. Everything that Jeremy Corbell comes out with gets debunked within 24 hours, usually just totally shot down, discredited, and he pretends like it never happened. He'll never backpedal on a single thing. I've been wrong on this channel before. And then the minute I find out, we apologize in the next episode and cover it the right way. And I'll edit the part out that was wrong so that people don't replay it going years back, going over the stuff and have the misinformation. Try to be, accurate. I don't always do that. I can't say that I've done that for everything because a lot of stuff is historical now, and it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to, get stuff wrong and then admit to it. But these guys never admit to stuff. They view admitting to stuff as, weakness. And, they will never admit to stuff. But yeah, it's pretty crazy what's going on in the UFO community. But I'm convinced that they're going to run these psyops, that they're running these psyops, and then trying to tell Ross about this and say, hey, be careful of these, what you're doing, and you should be talking to other people. Again, no one's in the UFO journalists, UFO journalists and the video people, they're putting out these trash jellyfish UFO videos, the Mosul orb, all this crap that gets debunked as balloons almost instantly is nothing to it. And Ashton Forbes, they won't even touch those. They won't even touch those MH370 videos. And again, those videos are better than anything that any of these UFO people have ever fucking put out. It's so ridiculous. These videos have espers on them. They're taken from a classified satellites, these espers satellites, which is space-based infrared satellites. There's a whole space-based system of cameras that watches like the entire planet. Do you know how many UFO videos must be on espers? They do not want the public to find out about espers. Don't you get what's going on here, guys? And then Avi Loeb did an interview. It's going to be out this weekend, next weekend, I guess. And Mick West comments on it. Well, there goes Avi Loeb's credibility. He had a good run. As if you have credibility. As if anyone would trust anything Mick West has to say in this field at this point. And here's some context. Forbes is a lunatic who promotes the false theory that MH370 was teleported. Yeah, I agree. Again, there's no evidence that teleportation exists, and certainly not an idea that it was teleported. I think invisibility technology exists. They could adapt it with these active invisibility cloak technology. I believe that exists. That's much more plausible than the teleportation. And that there are videos of this teleportation, even though the videos were proven false. Again, the videos are better than anything that has been presented to Arrow, and Arrow hasn't touched the videos. They don't even want to bring it up or draw any attention to it. They're so scared of it. So what the heck is going on with these videos? Because I thought they were fake too. But now that I've seen how some of the other facts that have come out about all this stuff, I'm not so sure with space-based infrared. I don't think it's teleportation technology, but we do have the technology to generate these plasma balls in space. And we do have the space-based infrared systems, which probably hold more classified UFO videos and data than anything we've ever seen before. And these guys aren't touching it. They're telling you this is egg stuff. They got egg on their face. Big disgrace. Kicking ufology right in the face. Well, again, me and Ashton, he's never blocked me, and we can agree to disagree. And I don't think Avi Loeb is jumping on board the teleportation bandwagon anytime soon. And just because he did an interview with Ashton Forbes, it's kind of interesting. I'm suspicious because, I've been trying to get an interview with Avi Loeb since forever. I've gone to his office and left notes personally, because I just feel like I'm not getting through to him. He never responds to us at all. I mean, weird stuff. And he gives an interview to Ashton, which I guess it's right, because Ashton has been on this a year and he's got 200,000 more subscribers than Mick West. 200,000. Yeah, the first context. Ashton has 200K plus more followers than you and has only been doing this a year. That's the first response, to Mick West. And that's the truth, Mick. You have 42K followers and tons of people drop all the time. More and more people stop following you once they see that some of your investigations are just absolute disinformation and bullshit. That you cannot possibly see a conspiracy, even when one exists, even when there's evidence in your face of a real conspiracy. You will never ever see it, and you'll do mental gymnastics. And Mick West is losing his mind over this Ashton Forbes thing, because how does Ashton Forbes have 200,000 more followers than me? And I've been doing this for, decades. Mick West thinks that he has all the credibility in this field, and that people like Avi Loeb and Ashton have less credibility than him. No, they have way more credibility, way more followers. And again, Ashton is just been studying this UFO stuff for a year, but he had a huge leg up into a lot of inside scoop on a lot of real good information. Okay. We speed schooled Ashton. Guys like me, guys like Dave Rossi, we've been speed schooling Ashton, trying to teach him everything we can about the physics of this stuff while he's got his minute of fame and some of the limelight, so that we can draw attention to the real programs. Some of the stuff that he's talked about is real. Some of it's, less credible and not really as, the science is a complex field and all this stuff. I get it wrong. And of course, Ashton's going to get it wrong, but Ashton's doing a great job of getting information out there and introducing a greater public to sources that they didn't know exist, like the ESPERS radar system. ESPERS is like huge. The space-based infrared radar system is these geosatellites, and these, they watch the entire planet with infrared video cameras, and they could zoom in like crazy. They know they can track every aircraft on the planet. You don't think they're using this kind of a system to track UAP? They don't think they have these space-based systems watching, the entire planet, including watching us. I mean, we look at the Argus surveillance. Persistent surveillance, the BAE systems built, right? This was over 10 years ago now. They could watch the whole block in super high definition. They could read the Marlboro in your cigarette. Anyways, rat poison is 90% food. Absolutely. That's how they do it. But I just tell people, go watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Go fast forward it to the 55-minute work. It's free right now, right on YouTube. So go ahead and fast forward right to 55 minutes and just listen to everything they talk about and the tactics that the military and the government and the Air Force use to debunk all these people's real world experiences when they show up and ask questions to the government. This is exactly what we're seeing in the mainstream repeated. It's all the same shit. None of it's the real stuff, the real stories, the real scientists, the real data. All of it's the fluff, and all of it's the nonsense from first and center. Again, why do they put Jake Barber out there in this interview when they have John Blitch? And where's John Blitch on all this stuff, man? You look up John Blitch, right? I'm sorry, I'm not reading all the comments and stuff, right? Lieutenant Colonel. This guy's people behind the science. Where is this guy? This guy should have been reaching out to me saying, hey man, you want some real stuff. I know that you're the real deal and you want to report on some real stuff. Why didn't he come on this channel? We got to get him on this channel, man. This guy's the real deal. Human robot interaction, consulted company, 2 nonprofit organizations, the world's first robot-assisted humanitarian response effort in the aftermath of World Trade Center attacks in September 2001. Wait a minute, he was involved in that? the robot assisted. So this is weird now, because I know 9/11 history, and I'm going to bring something up. David Ray Griffin did a ton of research on this, found out that there was another guy named David Griffin who set up this whole company, and they built a bunch of these robots and brought them to the World Trade Center, and they had lasers equipped with laser ignition and identification software. So basically the robot's job was to crawl over the rubble pile and clean up any kind of. There's a weird thing about this and the cleanup of the nanothermite evidence at the World Trade Center, that they have basically laser ignition patents on igniting. You look into these guys and some of the patents and all this stuff, they have laser ignition thermite patents. So they went and like lasered the entire rubble pile to burn off any, unreacted thermite so that they could get rid of and destroy any evidence that was there. This is crazy connection there, because that brings up some of the 9/11 research that I've done. And, anytime something connects back to 9/11, that's really weird. I got to check this link, man. You emailed it to me? Here it is. Independent. Hold on, let me get this link. All right, guys. Do you think that people like Ross and James Fox have been infiltrated? 85% of you say yes. I know so, dude, because I've been infiltrated. If I've been infiltrated, these people certainly have. At least I'm able to route out the infiltration and then be like, all right, offer the correction. And I say, hey, let me. Oh, what else did he do? Department of Homeland Security. Director, senior cognitive scientist for Air Force Research Labs, right? Space vehicles. Senior cognitive scientist. Wow, this is wild. Science, math, and research for transportation scholar. Blitz Solutions Incorporated. Alliance for Robot Assisted Crisis Assessment and Response in Mandeville, Louisiana. Yeah, I'll find some more links on those 9/11 connections too, to the robots, and I'll post some more stuff up on that. I think that's an interesting connection there, and one that none of these journalists will ever touch is the 9/11 connections. Which, by the way, if you look into the Blackstone group, right? Blackstone Group, this global investment firm and this big financial advisory service and everything. Well, two of the guys that are part of that Blackstone Group were Larry Silverstein and Maurice Greenberg, right? So those are the guys that Larry Silverstein leased the World Trade Center towers, and then the AIG insured them and paid out the insurance thing. So the Blackstone Group definitely had some interesting, 9/11 connections there. But then when you look up Freescale Semiconductor and you do your research into Freescale Semiconductor and this whole MH370 thing, one of the big red flags that stood out for me huge was that the Blackstone Group bought them out right before 2014 when these 20 scientists died, right? Well, right after 9/11, and they sold it like right before the scientists died or something really weird. So the fact that the Blackstone Group, being connected with MH370 is a huge red flag, and there needs to be a goddamn investigation, and there needs to be real fucking reporters reporting on this instead of this fucking egg trash. I'm sorry, Ross. Report on the real shit, man. We need fucking deep state, like, complete disclosure. We need full catastrophic disclosure. This is a criminal gang of disinformation agents. If you don't fucking man up and the response you sent me that we're gonna shoot one of these we're gonna summon one of these UFOs with our psychic abilities and then capture it, and then we'll have the technology, game over. That is trash. That is a trash response. That is it's an insult to my intelligence, an insult to everybody's intelligence in this damn community. If you think you're going to summon a UFO and capture it with your psychic abilities, it's trash. It is a trash position. You are, for you to be a journalist and call yourself a journalist and tell me that you're going to summon UFOs with your fucking mind and then shoot them down. This is where you're at. This is fine to put out this kind of stuff to the public where everyone sees this. The general public sees Mork and Mindy, everyone making egg jokes and comments to the point where I don't even want to read them anymore because it's so nauseating. This is disinformation. If you don't realize that, I don't know what to tell you. And if you can say that guys like John, this Birch guy is supporting, supports this other guy to come out and be he's the whistleblower. This is just doesn't look like how you do disclosure. I'm sorry, this doesn't look like how you put evidence forward. This was the hugest pump up and letdown I've ever had in ufology to date. There's been nothing but from this whole group that seems to have controlled the entire narrative on UFOs for the past several years. They hype up these stories and then they let us down. And this is the biggest hype up and biggest letdown ever that I've ever had. Why didn't you put these guys forward? Why weren't these guys interviewed first and put forward? Why is it psychic abilities? And I mean, not that there's other witnesses. You look up Jonathan Weygandt, right? Jonathan Weygandt reported a lot of these same things in a crash that he was privy to. And I believe him. I believe Jake Barber maybe saw some stuff and was introduced to some stuff. But to put this evidence out when you don't have a complete evidence to the public is just as bad as saying that there's evidence that this plane was teleported, when you just jump. There's some conclusions, a lot of jumping to conclusions being made and by some of these people, and I think that's why, I don't know, this stuff is blowing up huge. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. But again, as more people research the real scientists and their work, that's all I care about on this channel, is that we're digging into the real patents. We now know about this free 0-point energy stuff. Well, dig into the patents. Who are the scientists working on it for Air Force research labs back when they said these breakthroughs could have happened? Well, we look in and we find Dr. Frank Mead and, working alongside Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis. And we find all the other scientists that worked alongside these guys over the years, like Dr. Bernard Haish. And you dig into all their research and you find other scientists and other papers. And that's how we do research on this channel. That's how we do. And we've done more journalistic integrity for ufology by just digging through the science and showing how all the science of this stuff connects than half of these so-called journalists are doing. And these so-called journalists who will report on this kind of stuff, it makes it look like the reporting that they're doing is like a psyop on the general public, because there's of what they're showing the public, how they're showing it to the public, and all the important stuff that they're leaving out and not talking about. Like, they'll show this jellyfish UFO video, this egg UFO video, right? But they won't show the MH370 videos or talk about the possibility that espers could have a whole secret network recording these videos of UFOs, and that espers could have thousands of videos of UFOs. Again, it's egg retrieval. It's this UFO. It's making a mockery of the whole idea of UFO retrieval and recovery, is my opinion. I don't think anybody out there who's seen this story takes this subject seriously anymore. And Ross's response to me is that he doesn't care about whether people take it seriously or whether the Pentagon runs these psyops. None of that matters, because me and Jake Barber are going to set up this Skywatcher company with all this technology, and we're going to psychically summon a UFO and capture it on video and all these sensors, and that's going to be disclosure. You just wait. No, we have disclosure, buddy. We have huge, huge connections. Freescale Semiconductor bought out 20 scientists go missing on MH370. That company was bought out by the Blackstone Group right before. The Blackstone Group, right before they bought out Freescale Semiconductor, was involved with the whole World Trade Center 9/11 bullshit. So you do your connections and you find your connections. We need to investigate 9/11, which Trump's not. There's a whole huge thing coming out now, too. Like Richard Gage is putting to get this together. I don't know if you've heard of this. Richard Gage, 9/11. But again, you won't find anything on YouTube because it's run by Google, so it's super censored. But if you look up Richard Gage 9/11 on X, it's not quite as censored. Still, a lot of 9/11 stuff gets censored on X for whatever reason. But you can at least find the stuff you're looking for through the search, tool, unlike YouTube, which they need to fix that shit. It's just terrible. There are 8 things in this video. No, where's the new one, Richard? The initiative you're launching, buddy. Here it is. Breaking. FBI raided my family's home because I wanted to investigate 9/11. Kurt Weldon. Yes, Kurt Weldon comes out and reveals that the FBI raided his home because he wanted to investigate 9/11. This is the response that this is the FBI being used as a criminal organization to intimidate members of the government that want to look into 9/11 and get the truth about 9/11. This is the most sensitive, most classified, most protected truth in the entire conspiracy world is the 9/11 stuff, people. Rest assured, this is 100% real. I've been doing research into this for 20 years. The amount of connections I've uncovered behind this is just mind-blowing that this is still allowed to remain secret and nobody talks about it. Nobody will talk about Bandar Bush, the connections that Bandar's lawyer for the Saudi Arabian ambassador between the Bush family and Saudis during this whole 9/11 stuff. And this guy is named in the missing redacted pages from the 9/11 Commission. The official government investigation into who financed 9/11 came up with this guy, that this Bandar Bush is the guy that financed 9/11 and the terrorists, okay? And this was all redacted, kept out of the final report, not released to the public. It was classified. Finally came out, finally was revealed, and boom, we have Bandar Bush. And guess who becomes Bandar Bush's attorney after this comes out? Former head of the fucking FBI. If Louis Freeh, Bandar Bush, go look it up. Louis Freeh. Freeh defends Saudi payments. 2009. Boom. You have the FBI covering for the financing of 9/11. No wonder the FBI is raiding Kurt Weldon's fucking house. He wants this exposed. I think Louis Freeh wants it exposed that he and his network of assets and friends funded 9/11. No, they don't want that. God, that would be absolutely terrible for all of them. So of course they raided Kurt Weldon's house. It's questioning 9/11. Can't do that. Anyways, there's more. Yeah, I wish there was more on this Richard Gage connection here. Richard is. Where's the new start thing? The new thing that they started here. Hold on. In less than 24 hours, our new government outreach effort begins because it doesn't matter who the new president is. It doesn't matter if they were funded by Israeli lobbyists or hold close ties with Israel's prime minister. It doesn't matter if they were friends with Larry Silverstein. We are going to hold the new president and his feet to the fire on 9/11. We are going to speak truth to power because regardless of whether he listens or does anything, it's the right thing to do, right? It is. It's the absolute right thing to do. And we all need to hammer down Trump's doors on these connections. Yeah, Larry Silverstein was your friend. Maybe the Blackstone Group makes a lot of money and sends a lot of money to the Republican Party. I don't know. These guys are still fucking criminals and they still belong in prison. Okay. So the fact that Blackstone Group and Larry Silverstein, Blackstone Group has that connection to Freescale Semiconductor, that needs to be investigated. That needs a serious inquiry. People aren't talking about that. Ashton needs to drop the whole, I mean, teleportation is cool and exotic technology is cool. We got to go with realistic, what's realistic. And also the leads. The leads in this case are super important. Those scientists are everything. They were involved with some really serious technologies, some real serious stuff. 2014, as we talked about the smart dust technology, the contact tracing smart dust technology. That's all RFID communicates through. They can blow the they send out a frequency and they can read on the smart dust and start mapping out the whole world, putting us all under the internet and a trackable future society. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. And Richard Gage of Architects and Engineer for 9/11 Truth, please show your support for him, and if you can, call your congressman and mention it to them. Be like, hey, why are you guys not investigating this stuff? Okay. Why are you guys not investigating, 9/11? And ask him, is it because, Kurt Weldon's home got raided by the FBI that you don't want that to happen to you? Is it because, Senator Tom Daschle's office was sent anthrax when he threatened to investigate 9/11? Anthrax that was later determined came from a U.S. bioweapons lab and probably was an inside job, just like 9/11. Well, people are waking up. It's no longer taboo to talk about this stuff. It's no longer taboo to question it. Question your government and everything that happened with COVID, especially in Australia. Jesus, you guys got it bad with your government. That was horrible. Those guys should all be in prison. Thank you so much, man. No. That's too deep down the rabbit hole for us right now. We don't want to get into the glitter conspiracy. Not on this stream, guys. Yeah, exactly. That's the same place that's the same place the Wuhan flu research was done under Fauci. Exactly. And to top it off, the best thing that happened, right, is Biden last minute pardons. He gave Fauci a retroactive pardon. Why would you do that unless Fauci had committed, serious crimes? This is nuts. Anyways, I got to get going. Thank you. Keep asking questions. Keep speaking truth to power. We're winning. The PSYOPs are not working. We're defeating you.